Welcome, my friends, to this community showdown featuring the Vampire Counts, who shall be led by Hot Ice Cube. And today, guys, he's going to be facing off against the Tomb Kings, who shall be led by Ark in the Black. And it looks like he's going to be going in with some pretty strange picks. We have High Queen Khalida, we have an Iro Titan. Things are about to get pretty wild. Now, for the build of the Vampire Counts, in the front line, it's going to be a sunset strip of zombies. So, yeah, zombies going into the sunset here, and obviously they're Tar Pit, 7,500 HP. Did they get a nerf to their HP? Because I could have sworn zombies used to have over 8,000. I could have sworn it. But anyway, 7,500, still pretty good. Terrible stats, but they basically just take a beating and allow your other troops to maneuver, like your Terror Geists and your Blood Knights, and just buy time for the rest of your army. We got those guys. We do also have a couple of Fellbats. So Fellbats here, perhaps going to be diving in on Ushabti Great Bows, and even though they don't have a lot of stopping power, they can still stop them from firing. They can muck things up, and what's really cool about Fellbats as well is you can actually use them to kind of just halt single entities as well. If you kind of charge in from the rear when they're trying to run, you can hold them in place a little bit, which is quite cool. And granted, they can still be pushed through. It's still pretty nice utility. Now for his main line, it's going to be Skeleton Warriors, it looks like. I don't think we have any Grave Guard or any elite troops of any sort. So for the most part, this Vampire Count army is going to be pulling most of its value from its cav, which are over there in the forest there, the Blood Knights and troops like that. We have a Mana Battery Necromancer, some Black Knights with Lances and Barding, which is something I've been experiencing in campaign. They're actually pretty good in campaign, but I don't know so much about this. But we'll find out here in a moment. It looks like more Black Knights with Lances and Barding. They still have a good charge bonus of 62, so with effective micro, I suppose these guys could do quite well. Plus they do also have shields, so that could be helpful against like skeleton archers and things like that. Over here on the flank, the heavy hitters for the Vampire Counts, we have a Blood Dragon Vampire Lord who's a pretty beastly duelist in his own right. 537, 52, he does of course have the Helm of Discord, which is arguably one of the more powerful items in the entire multiplayer game. Coming in, nerfing an entire, especially against Tomb Kings, because they're oftentimes in such a tight formation, you're going to be lowering the stats, just a vast stat lowering on all those guys, like lowering it by 26 and 26, I think, or 26 and 27 on a big blob is just a game changer, especially for these like big alpha strikes, because Vampire Counts typically will cycle charge, right? They'll go in, they'll pop their cooldowns, they'll pull back, they'll do it again, they'll rinse and repeat. That's kind of how Vampire Counts play, so such items are really, really good. So that's pretty much it for that side of the battlefield, and it looks like on this forest here we have two Blood Knights. Now Blood Knights are a very strong unit. They're going to be able to potentially take out these constructs despite the lack of their AP. Their charge bonus and anti-large is just so good, and they can really pack some heavy punch for sure. And I mean, Tomb Kings do have a lot of light armor, so if you want to take out Nehekar Horsemen or cycle charge Skeleton Infantry, like you can truck them really good too with the charge bonus of the Blood Knights. So for the forces of Ark in the Black here, it looks like we do have the Iro Titan. We have a Spirit Leech Caster. It looks like a Lich Priest with Death. We have a Tomb Prince as well. And we do also have High Queen Khalida. So the sneaky snake lady. She does have poison. So it does kind of in a way punish like big, timing cycle charges. Because if they come in, she can countercharge them. She's fast. She can poison them. She definitely brings a little bit of utility in that respect. But aside from that, nothing really unique on her. She just has her curses and My Will Be Done. So maybe she's just like a really cheap armor-piercing choice. Two groups of Ushabti Great Bows, it looks like, or maybe just one. So one group of Ushabti Great Bow. Here, Tomb Scorpion, Iro Titan. Not a ton of anti-large aside from the Tomb Prince, but I mean, that's not to say an Iro Titan can't beat down a large threat. He has 56 melee attack, and the fire damage is actually pertinent against Vampire Counts. So if he's able to get his big Pimp Cane and give the business to like a fire vulnerable character, he can take them out rather quickly. Spears in the back, Nehekar Horsemen in reserve, and that's pretty much it. So let's get this show on the road, guys, and see how this spooky undead battle goes. So firstly, the Great Bows are going to be shooting in. It looks like they're going to be taking some pot shots at the Black Knights with Lances and Barding here, who are hiding in the minuscule forest here. They're able to get some cover at least, so probably not going to be taking casualties. And it looks like the Tomb Kings are going to be switching fire elsewhere. So maybe they're scooting forward a little bit. I wonder if they're going to go after the Necromancer, perhaps? And it looks like they're going to be turning this general direction, maybe going after some Fellbats. Not really sure about their targeting, but we'll find out here in a second. And yes, it looks like they're going to be shooting at some Fellbats. They're not going to be the most value. Now, the Vampire Counts are going to be getting a big surround, so you can see here the Black Knights with Lances and Barding are coming, and the Blood Knights are probably coming up on the periphery as well. They're really creeping through the forest and really being careful to do that. You can see they're both still hidden, so the Tomb Kings are not aware of the Blood Knights coming in. So he's probably knows something's up, though, because, most players, obviously, when you play a lot of ladder and tournaments and things like that, you can kind of get an idea for like what a unit full army looks like. So if you can be like, that army looks a little bit weak for a 12,400 point army, so in that case, he probably knows something's up. So here the Black Knights are going to be coming in. They're going into the classic wedge formation, so really good control there. So basically that allows him to kind of slip through here a little bit better. And we do also have a Spirit Leech going down on the Blood Dragon Vampire Lord, so trying to nerf that guy a little bit with the Spirit Leeches. And the Bats are going to be coming in, and see, that's what I'm talking about. He flew behind with the Bats and pinned in this caster, so the caster couldn't really run. Helm of Discord coming in as well, and a really nice sniping opportunity, but the Tomb Prince is coming in. Zombie Summon used here by the Vampire Counts. Beautiful play right there. to pin those guys in, but it looks like the Blood Dragon Vampire Lord, despite popping all the buffs, kind of like got a little bit mucked up and wasn't able to get that good engagement. So the Alpha Strike from the Vampire is actually quite a failure right there. I mean, it was good control, but I think that the Lich Priest got knocked over when the Blood Dragon Vampire Lord came in, which is, it's nice to see like Foot Lords survive an Alpha Strike, or Foot characters in general. But the Black Knights are doing a pretty good charging down infantry. They do a bunch of damage to the Skeleton Spears, and then they're cycle charging here in the front against the Tomb Guard and getting a ton of damage actually. So really, really good stuff. So despite missing that opportunity initially to kill that character, oh, and that breath attack is beautiful. Hits the Titan, it hits the Tomb Prince, it hits all these characters, although it was just a little bit of a scratch on all of them, so I suppose it wasn't as good. Nefaera's Scroll of something of Mighty Incantations is going to be giving a lot of Winds of Magic back. That's an item that gives Winds of Magic based on the effect radius, or how many units are being hit or nearby or whatever. So it's kind of like you know, the orcs in 40k, how like the more orcs that are nearby, the better their spells are. Same thing. So Blood Dragon Vampire Lord is going to be getting Invocation going after these guys. A nice Blood Knight Lancing charge right here into the Tomb Guard. And the Black Knights with Lances and Barding, who've actually been doing a really good job here, are going to be peeling off and going after those Ushabti Great Bows. So those Great Bows probably going to be getting crumped pretty good. As the zombies do collapse in the front, they're just going to get tar pitted. Now in the back, the Tomb Kings have a pretty good retort. They are able to take out a Blood Knight model, also do some decent damage against the harassing Blood Dragon Vampire Lord. And their stuff's in pretty good shape. Pyro Titan's okay, Tomb Scorpion's okay, the Tomb Prince is in good shape, High Queen Khalid's okay, and the Deathcaster is also in good shape. So far, I mean, they've taken some casualties here, and the Vampire count charging with the Black Knights has been really good, and the Blood Knights. These Tomb Guard here are getting taken out pretty quick, and these regular Tomb Guard in the front are also getting taken out, and it looks like the Ushabti Great Bows are going to be going down, so these, obviously a showdown between two very high-level players here. Blood Dragon Vampire Lord's going to be jumping on the Ushabti Great Bows, and it looks like they're in a little bit of trouble. Negative 37, tons of AP, tons of anti-large is just stacked on top of them, and I don't think that the Tomb Kings are going to be able to salvage that situation. Also here, pretty rough situation for the Tomb Kings, as the Blood Knights are going to be able to pile in and probably get a surround here on this Scorpion. So the Scorpion, it's not like a full concave surround, so typically what you would want to do is grab these Blood Knights, although if the Scorpion does it for you, that's nice, and gets itself surrounded, is you want to get the surround on it. So you move past them, wait till your models have surrounded the single entity, then you attack to make sure all your guys pile in. But Scorpion here probably going to be going down, or at least taking a ton of damage. And back in the main fight though, finally the Vampire counts are going to be getting that booty. The Lich Priest here gets afflicted by the Helm of Discord. It's going to be getting taken out by the Blood Dragon Vampire Lord. Sword of Anti-Hero is going down, and the Deathcaster is just getting melted by that Blood Dragon Vampire Lord, but it's not without a cost. The Tomb Prince is nearby, Khalid's nearby, and they are able to get a couple punches in against the Blood Dragon Vampire Lord, who then peels over. Very good rotation. I mean, outstanding rotation. Rotates over to the Tomb Scorpion here, and it looks like the Tomb Scorpion is going to be going down. I mean, there's no way. There's no way it's going to live. Invocation goes down. Oh, that's such a good invocation. Healing up two Blood Knights, healing up the Blood Dragon Vampire Lord as it does Shrek this Tomb Scorpion. That is just so good and tasty. Now here we do also have the Knights, the Black Knights pulling back, but getting a little bit beat up, and it looks like the Shem's Burning Gaze coming down from the Iro Titan is able to make some decent contact here. Scorpion's trying to get back to its friends here, but it's not going to get back, and it shall be smited here by the Knights of the Red Keep. Now if we get back into the center pocket, the Lich Priest of Death is holding on just by a thread, crumbling with like 200 HP, and obviously Tomb Kings don't have the capability of healing with Invocation of Heck. Oh, and the Blood Dragon Vampire Lord coming in just with a crushing blow. The guy's like, I'm weak, help me, and this just gets pile driven. Although it doesn't quite finish it off, but it does knock it over in a very dramatic fashion. Blood Knights also cycle charging back in, so the Tomb Kings, as far as what they have left, they have some Skeleton Spears here, they have some Tomb Guard in the front, who certainly need to get in a fight, probably. And the Iro Titan's still in good shape, and the Iro Titan is, you know, it has some wonky attack animations, but it's still a pretty powerful combatant with a ton of HP, and the Blood Dragon Vampire Lord is very low as well. 2,600, getting relatively close to that healing cap. It looks like a breath attack's going to be coming down on Khalida, and Khalida's able to dodge some of it, but she still takes quite a few in the face there, and it's probably going to be doing about 400 or 500 HP, but it's actually a very close battle. Both players have been playing very well, responding tit for tat. Whenever the Blood Dragon Vampire Lord comes in, it seems the Tomb Kings player was, you know, just ready to go. He had his guys in position, and he counter punches. And although he's out of Spirit Leech now, there's no Deathcaster anymore. It looks like the Deathcaster did fully crumple out, so it's really good to be on Khalida's back here, plus the Iro Titan and the Tomb Prince. Also, something else that's quite good for the Tomb Kings is they have a ton of Skeleton Spearmen left, and most of the Vampire army is like large. They have skeletons, they have a couple chaff units of like zombies and things like that, but the spears are going to be very cost effective. However, the Vampires get a pretty good alpha strike here on the Iro Titan. They push in with all their forces trying to get that big old death thrust, but the Titan's holding on firm. Helm of Discord is nerfing his stats for sure, but he's going to be supported by spears. High Queen Khalida doesn't have the best mass, not like Setra, but you know, Khalida's still going to be jumping in there on her Sneaky Snake and attacking some Blood Knights. So every Blood Knight model she can take out is going to be quite substantial. So the Iron Titan here is going to be holding. As far as HP goes, it's still pretty healthy, so a really tanky monster. I mean, heavily armored, 50 melee defense, it's definitely not going to be easy to get when it's supported by spears. Now, if the Iron Titan was dragged out into open field, was isolated and fully surrounded by the Blood Knights, that would be a pretty different picture. So Blood Knights charging back in, they do a little bit of damage on impact, nothing to write home about. Really nice breath attack, taking it down from 7,000 HP to about 6,200, so doing close to 800 damage there, but oh no, and the Iron Titan walks way too far away from its support. It just kept shambling after those Blood Knights, and now it's fully surrounded. Since then, it's taken about 1,800 damage. These Blood Knights are going to get in there and do so much work against this guy, and you can also see the Blood Giant Vampire Lord just cackling. He's like, yes, good Anakin, I have you isolated. And yeah, 7 leadership here. The Iron Titan is in really, really bad shape. A ton of Tomb Kings left though, like I said. I mean, spears, 90 Tomb Guard is not going to be easy to take out. Tomb Guard are a very durable unit with pretty good leadership by undead standards. So the Titan's holding. It's kind of stabilizing a little bit. Its leadership going back up. It was almost kind of crumbling into that negative kind of critical binding there for a moment, but it looks like it's come back here. Bloodjack and Vampire Lord pretty close to its healing cap, and Kalita is jumping in, and the Iron Titan getting his Pimp Cane and doing some decent work against the Bloodjack and Vampire Lord. We've got spears coming in, but oh no, up on the high ground, it looks like he may have forgotten about some Tomb Guard. Unfortunate mistake. That would actually be a pretty big difference maker at cutting through all these undead chaff here, because, if you can cut through the chaff and force them to kind of charge in based on the rules of this tournament, that could be quite substantial. But anyways, I mean, that's going to be a nice find in the late game. It is kind of a fun thing, right? When you forget a unit and then it's really close in the late game, you're like, oh, hallelujah, there's something in the back that still can fight. So, I mean, obviously it's not the optimal play, but it still is a pretty good feeling. But here, this is really good for the Tomb Kings. Kalita is able to get in there with the support of spears, and she's getting in there on her Sneaky Snake, and her stats are pretty good as it pertains to being a duelist. Helm of Discord is going to lower those stats, obviously, and the Blood Knights are going to be getting a huge charge into the remnants of these Nagakar horsemen, who are getting lanced down pretty bad, but the back pocket Ushapti Summon coming out in the 4th quarter here, and those guys are going to be jumping on the Blood Knights and the zombies, holding it down, and it looks like the Bloodjack and Vampire Lord up in the sky is maybe going to be going after the Iron Titan, perhaps so. We'll find out here in a second. Maybe going to be going after Kalita, but you can see here that Arkin is going to be juking back and forth with Haiku and Kalita. I mean, good juking, you can avoid dragon charges for sure. I mean, it's hard to do, but it still is possible. So Kalita's going to be surging back in, her Sneaky Snake charging in, gets a little bit mucked up by the Blood Knights, and the Titan coming in with his Pimp Cane and doing a bunch of damage to that Bloodjack and Vampire Lord, forcing him back. So this Titan has been pretty good this game. I'm pretty sure he doesn't have Spirit Leech or any of his abilities anymore, but nonetheless, still an absolute beast. So the Titan's going to be getting charged once again by the Bloodjack and Vampire Lord, who does have the Sword of Anti-Heroes, putting him up to absolute linebacker stats. 641, weapon strength, probably really, really good AP on top of that, and you can see the Iron Titan is negative leadership for the first time in the game. So Kalita obviously couldn't push through all those Blood Knights, so she's getting a little bit Sneaky Snake, and she's trying to get around here to protect the Iron Titan. He needs to punish the Vampire counts every time they come in, otherwise it's just going to, they're going to be able to cycle charge into the Shadow Realm. So if we look here, the Tomb Guard up on the high ground have been discovered, so they're going to be coming back in, which is really nice because it was actually looking like the Vampire Counts had a fair amount of chaff left, and he really needs to clear up that chaff. Like, that's big, big time here. And the Iron Titan here, down to 1,400, and the Blood Knights have a pretty good charge, so man, outstanding surrounding. This Vampire Count player is just like a straight up like a piranha. Like, every time like something gets isolated in open field or just by itself, the Predators just swoop in. So the Iron Titan's going to be falling, and I wonder if it'll take any of these guys with it, and it tumbles, and down it goes. So I don't know if it actually took any. Oh, it did actually take out a couple Blood Knights. I like that the falling animation actually does that. Skeleton Spears are going to be surging in, and there is a Tomb Prince who's anti-large. Kalita's not anti-large, but her stats are 65, 60, 450, so she should be okay. So now it's really going to come down to like Benny Hill. Basically, Kalita has to be careful and make sure to just not to get kind of just taken out by the big beat stick right here. Oh man, really, really good snipe right there as the dragon, the Bloodjack and Vampire Lord does get on the Tomb Prince, but a curse is going to be going down maybe? No, it doesn't look like it, but the Bloodjack and Vampire Lord's at its healing cap. 1,200 HP. Kalita is able to force it back, but it looks like she's not able to make the contact she wants to. Another zombie summons coming in, and the Blood Knights are also going to be charging in the back here. The Tomb Guard are holding firm, though. The Tomb Guard here are going to be a huge saving grace, and Kalita and the Tomb Prince are going to be kind of standing shoulder to shoulder. So, if the Tomb Prince does fall, and look at that baiting. He's charging in, and then at the last second, he's like pulling back up to try and like bait it out. Oh, that's so obnoxious. Oh my goodness. And you can see here that the Tomb Prince here are going to be getting charged. Oh no, it's not. The cheese. The Eternal Tease. But Kalita does get low enough that the curse goes off, and the curse actually does a metric ton of damage to that undead army. So the Blood Knights are crumbling, having fought spears and being afflicted by that curse. Kalita's able to kind of crump these guys out, and the Tomb Guard are collapsing from both angles. So 2 full health groups of Tomb Guard. Honestly, like, those Tomb Guard might be able to actually defeat this Blood Dragon Vampire Lord that's just so beat up at this point. Oh no, the Blood Knights get a pretty good charge here on the Tomb Prince. Tomb Prince does get isolated here, and the Knights of Red keep once again striking, and the Blood Dragon Vampire Lord is going to be coming in. So man, crazy stuff there. As the remnants of the Tomb Kings march forward here, we have all these guys getting in there, and the Blood Dragon Vampire Lord escapes once again without taking damage. But Kalita's on the hunt. Is the Blood Dragon Vampire Lord going to get away? It looks like he is. And they're both so low. I mean, if the Blood Dragon Vampire Lord got a good charge on Kalita, like, and just nuked her, that could be game. I mean, it's really going to come down to this micro here. who has the micro. So the Tomb Guard here going to be screening out, and the Blood Knights here are all crumbling, so that's a pretty good sign here for the, I was about to say for the undead, but they're all undead. For the Tomb Kings, and the Blood Dragon Vampire Lord smells blood in the water once again, going to be getting ready for the charge with the Sword of Anti-Heroes. And I wonder where he's going to go. Probably just going to go finish off those Skeleton Spears because they are mucked up with his own troops, so there's no real threat, and it's free real estate, right? So he's going to go in there, take those guys out, potentially be a happy camper. Khalida, in the meantime, being much more careful, not really wanting to charge in here, I think, because he wants to kind of stay in a position where he can juke. He probably knows that the Tomb Guard are going to be able to win these fights, and the Skeleton Spears will be breaking in a matter of moments. I mean, negative 13, they're going down really, really fast. However, there's still a full health group of Skeleton Spears here for the undead. God damn it, not for the undead, for the vampire counts. I don't think there's any more breath attacks. The Blood Knights have fully crumbled over there. The other ones are stabilizing a little bit. They're at 32. And that's really, I mean, 10 Blood Knights could do a huge amount of damage here to Khalida if they're able to get an isolated charge. So some of the Skeleton Spearmen are going to be falling back and standing on top of Khalida here, just making sure to be nearby for support. And the Blood Dragon Vampire Lord swoops overhead, looking at the, I mean, I'm pretty sure Khalida is the one who hates the vampire count, so this is actually quite a thematic battle as well. So Khalida just kind of lurking, staying near the Skeleton Spears, and the Tomb Guard, the Blood Dragon Vampire Lord, both players just kind of grinding it out, but the grind is actually a little bit better for the Tomb Kings because the Tomb Guard are going to be much more efficient against these infantry. Skeleton Spearmen are crumbling here. Khalida's going to be kind of, drifting about, just waiting for an opportunity to strike, coiled like a snake. And Skeleton Spears are going down. I mean, so it's kind of a ticking talk for the vampire counts here. They kind of have to charge in. Otherwise, it's going to be a little bit tricky for them. So the Blood Knight's looking for an opportunity to get Khalida, but the spears are pretty well spaced. Tomb Guard, you can see Khalida has like a nice little center pocket right here, but that's what he was waiting for. Heart piercing. All the goodies being popped right here, and he's going to be going in for that strike. Khalida jukes the charge on her sneaky snake, and is she going to juke the charge once again? The Blood Dragon Vampire Lord's on the hunt. He's pushing through, but he does get a little bit mucked up by the Tomb Guard there and attacks those guys. And Khalida comes in for the counterpunch here, but the Blood Knights also intercept her, so she's not able to make that contact. This is a very scary situation here. Helm of Discord's active. Khalida has 1100 HP. How much does she have now? Oh, 1200, give or take. Blood Dragon Vampire Lord taking 2 shots to the face. He's very, very low. Khalida actually winning that fight, 604. And he's going to be forced back, and the Blood Knights are also stuck fighting infantry and things like that. And Khalida basically taking no damage because of the Tomb Guard nearby. The Tomb Guard are able to block up the Blood Knights, and it looks like the Tomb Kings might actually pull this one out. Khalida with the rear charge right there, 214. And is she going to get her vengeance against the vampire counts? Most likely here. I don't know. The Blood Dragon Vampire Lord still could charge in. Oh no, this could actually be the turning of the tide, even though the bounce power is so strong. If the Blood Dragon Vampire Lord could nuke her somehow, some way. But she's just so sneaky on that snake. She's coming in, and oh, he gets the contact. 500 HP on Khalida. Very, very scary situation for both players. But Khalida's going to be turning around, probably going for the Alpha Strike. She figures if she can get one attack, she'll win this, right? The Blood Knights here are going to be crumbling, and Khalida gets the death blow on the Blood Dragon Vampire Lord. What a close battle. The Tomb Guard here are able to finish up shop, and that is going to be game blouses. Man, what a game. Very well played to a Hot Ice Cube and Tomb Kings, and Ark in the Black. I always like, the name is so, it's already like a Tomb King name. So I like, it almost feels like I was watching like a campaign thing because it says like, Ark in the Black, but you guys get the picture. But very well played to the Vampire Counts and Hot Ice Cube and the Tomb Kings and Ark in the Black. That was a really fun game to watch. Intense micro from both players, like just intense stuff. But the unorthodox picks of the Iron Titan and Khalida was really fun to watch. I mean, she got 113 kills. It's not bad, right? Not bad. Granted, there were a ton of zombies, so it's not really an accurate reflection, but yeah, it was great stuff. So big thanks to Shetland Apache for sending in this replay from his tournament. It was quite a bit of fun watching the Hot Ice Cube and Ark in the Black duel it out, and hopefully you guys enjoyed this one as well. So we'll see you guys on the other side, and take care.